Hi everybody, welcome back to Homestead, Ohio. You see me do a little bit of work in this field here, taking a little bit of hay off of it from time to time, and generally just mowed it. It is a very rough field because this was all previously mined for coal many years ago, and when they reclaimed it, they did a terrible job of reclaiming it. Now I just walked out of a ditch right there. The ditch is man-made, it's full of rocks. It's to help cut down on the erosion from the water running down the hillside and everything. But the ditch is not really necessary if we can spread the water out. The ditch also cuts down on how much of this land I can use because I have to drive around that. I can't mow it. I plan on putting maybe some more grapevines over here on flatter ground and maybe blueberries. I don't know yet. I've toyed with raising some sheep here, pasture, hay, who knows. But either way, that ditch is a pretty big hindrance on my plans for this side. So I've got some other plans, and they're going to be taking shape here real soon because I got a dozer out here right now and a guy coming to fix all this up. It's one of my tines came off my hay rake. Okay, so I've been teasing you for a little while about getting something done with this side of the hill here, and I've gotten quite a bit of work done. I did have somebody come out here with the dozer and kind of fill in the ditch that was in the middle that did not need to be there. The property still has a little swell there in the middle, or swale, that drains off to the ditch, is where it's supposed to go anyways. I just didn't need that deep ravine there with all the big large rocks in it. It'll be spread out more and drain more gradually. At least that's the plan anyways. But you can see right now it's all dirt and a lot of rocks. Now I have moved dirt around, I've dragged dirt around, I have pushed dirt around, I have picked it up, scooped it, and moved it, and filled in low spots and scraped down high spots. I've used a box blade on it, I used a subsoiler on it, and I ripped a bunch of trenches through here about every 4 feet apart, and just pretty much the lengthwise this way across the slope, so that hopefully water kind of works its way down in there, gets a little moisture down in the soil. After that, I took a landscape rake and scraped a bunch of rocks off of this thing. And I mean, when I say tons of rocks, I mean tons of rocks. And they've been filled in down there where the end of the ditch, where it'll go down into the cross ditch before it goes under the road and goes over the other field. So lots and lots and lots of rocks. Some of them were big rocks too. Some of them I had to roll into the bucket on the tractor to get them out of the field. And then I disked it and cross-disked it with a 11-foot transport disc. So I was able to go back and forth, and then I kind of went diagonally. I have worked this soil way more than it should ever be worked, but I have to get it shaped the way I wanted it. Now that I got it that way, it's kind of crunch time because today's Friday, and Friday the 20th of September. Next Monday, it's supposed to start raining, and it's supposed to start raining for the entire week. And hopefully it's nice, long, gentle rains, because that's what I need to do here. I don't have any water over here, so I can't irrigate it unless I drag about 700 or 800 feet of hose over this way and put sprinklers out here, and that's not going to happen. So I'm going to let nature do it. But tomorrow morning, I got a guy coming with lime. He's going to put another application of lime on this field. We did it one time last fall. And I've got my little probe out here, my soil probe, and I'm going to sample probe, and I'm going to take some samples from some different places before we put the lime down, before I do any kind of amending to this soil, because I need a good baseline. Yes, I should be doing that before I apply the lime to it, but you know, sometimes things just don't quite work out the way you want them to. So that's the next best thing I can do, and then we'll have to calculate backwards the amount of lime we put on there to see if it's enough. Now I do know that the soil is already acidic. I've known that for a while, so I am going to just take a spot right here and set it on pH and cram this in the ground the best I can. And right there it's saying I got a 5.2, and let's move it over just a little bit. That's saying I got a 3.5, and one more time over here, that's saying 6.4. That's saying 3.9. Now, like I've said before, I don't know how accurate these little meters are, but I can't just look at it and say, I think it's this. This at least gives me some kind of idea, and once I take the samples, then I'll be able to send this off to a lab, and these will get sent off to the lab. And I've divided it up into 3 areas. So I got an area here. This is going to be grapevines. From here all the way over to where the hill goes up and the grass starts over there. From about here to there will be grapevines. On the upper side up there where there is grass already, that is going to be kind of pasture area. And then of course I got the spot over here with the blueberries, and I'm going to take some samples there just to see what I got. So I'll send it off to the lab and get all the tests done on it. I need to know the organic matter, the cation exchange, the magnesium to calcium ratios, all that kind of stuff. And I want to get a good program going for this, and I want to keep it as organic as possible. The lime I haven't put down it's lime. That's all it is. It's not any kind of funky chemicals. It's crushed pulverized limestone. It will dissolve. It will take some of the hydrogen ions away and reduce the acidity of the soil. Some things like really acidic soil, some things don't. Grapes like it can tolerate it somewhat acidic, but if these numbers are correct on this probe here, that's way too acidic for grapes. Probably be perfect for blueberries. But anyways, I'm going to get to plugging some soil samples out of here, collecting them, putting them together, and I'm going to take 2 different ones from the grape area. One is going to be kind of a surface area, like 6 inches below the surface, and then the other one's going to be deeper, going to go about 1 foot below the surface, and get a deeper soil sample. That's what's recommended for grapes because most of their roots go pretty deep in the soil. The other stuff up on the top there is just going to be for pasture, so 6 inches below the top is going to be plenty. And the blueberries there, I'll probably do the same thing because blueberries have pretty shallow roots, so they'll get a pretty shallow test there too. Anyways, I got to get to plugging and get to moving. Okay, so I got my first set of samples from the area where I want to plant the grapevines, and I need to let them know what I want to plant. That way they can advise me on what to amend the soil with. So I put the probe down in pretty much the length of the cutout there, which is I guess about 8 inches right there, and knocked off a little bit on the top. I don't want to get anything too close to the surface, so I took only the lower about 3 or 4 inches of it, and it's not a very big sample. But I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 8 different samples, and I got a little bit of dirt in there, and I want to crumble it up. Now, you heard that, there are rocks in there, and there are actual rocks in there. So the rocks, I picked some of those out. Some of them are just really hard lumps of clay. So this is the sample they're going to get, and I'm just going to put that in a Ziploc baggie, and the guy that's coming to do the lime tomorrow will actually be the guy that's going to send it off to the lab for me. And I think I'm only going to take the 1 shallow set of samples from the grapevines here, because really I have a little trouble getting that probe down in that ground there, so it might not be the easiest one to take any samples from. And hopefully that'll be enough. If not, he'll let me know in the morning when he comes out to do the lime. And I'm gonna go up to the top up there and take some samples up there. Now, I did go to jab the probe down in the ground a couple times and hit rocks, and had to move over a little bit to try it again because there's a lot of rocks out here, and that's no fun. Okay, here it is, September 22nd. Tomorrow is when the rain is supposed to start. Actually, tomorrow, 3 a.m. tonight, Sunday night, Monday morning, it's going to start raining. And I got to get some grass seed. Now, I have worked this soil and worked it and worked it and worked it. And I'm ready to get some seed down on here before the rain comes. The only thing I don't have with me right now is some straw. I would like to cover the whole field with straw. And the guy I'm getting my straw from is at the county fair, so he's got some animals to do there and stuff. So what I'm gonna put down here right now is I've got some coated Kentucky 31 fall, a tall fescue here. I've got, these are some winter wheat that I had left over from last year. I've got a 50-pound bag of alfalfa. I have got, some of these I got on Amazon here. This is crimson clover. This is a 10-pound bag of crimson clover. I'm not gonna put all that down. I've got some daikon radishes here, and everything I'm planting is gonna be for a cover crop to get this soil stuck together, held together, and do some benefit to the soil, some green manure type stuff. I got a 22-pound bag of peas and oats here, and I've got another 10-pound bag of buckwheat here. All this stuff will flower, and I'm going to let it flower. I'm just going to let it go once it establishes. Hopefully just keep on letting it go, and the pollinators, the bees, will benefit from it. And if I decide to make hay off of it next year. Now what I'm going to have to do, unfortunately, I do not have a broadcast spreader for my tractor, so I'm going to use this, and even this isn't mine. I borrowed this one, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put out a bunch of this tall fescue, kind of get a base coat of that on there, maybe kind of thin. Then I'm probably going to plant about half of this alfalfa. I'm going to plant all of the peas and oats, all of the daikon radishes, all of the buckwheat, and probably about half of the crimson clover, because hopefully it does well. Hopefully all of it does well. And I'm going to plant all of this this winter wheat, which I don't know if it's going to do any good. It's a little buggy, so it's either going to grow, or it's going to maybe give the birds that are going to come picking through this stuff something to eat. Either way, I need to get rid of it. Instead of throwing it away, I put it out here. It'll either become, feed for the plants, break down and become compost, or it'll sprout, and who knows. Anyways, I'm gonna start with the tall fescue. One more grease. Okay, I spread out about half of my alfalfa. There's the other half right there. Maybe about half of the crimson clover, and almost all the daikon radish. I spilled a little bit in the back of the gator here, so I'm going to get that cleaned up. And then there's one more thing I have to do, and that's I have to take the cultipacker and run over this thing and get everything packed down so I get good seed to soil contact, and then it's all up to God. The good thing is it's getting cloudy right now, and I think I heard a couple rumbles of thunder. Be a few extra seeds right there. This is what is known as a cultipacker. It's a bunch of cast iron rollers on here, and this thing is very old. It's probably 70 or 80 years old, maybe, I don't know. But they're extremely expensive, and this one is well used, very well used. So it's used to give good seed to soil contact. So I'm going to do it across the hill so that water will be slowed down by the ridges it makes too. Okay, all the seeds down and the cultipacking has been done. I'll bet these things are a lot quieter when they're new because, like I said, this thing is wore out. It's probably 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. I have no idea how old it is. It is very old. Missing a couple rollers, a lot of slop in there, a lot of wear. The bearings in the ends on these things were made out of wood, and there's nothing left. Maybe the termites ate it, who knows. But anyways, all I can do now is leave the rest of it in God's hands. Get a little rain here tonight, hopefully. The weatherman says it's coming, and the sky looks like it's coming. It's just not here yet. It's supposed to be around 3 a.m. And that's what I've done to this field so far. Hopefully I'll do a couple updates, and hopefully we get to see some stuff germinate, come up here and see some buckwheat and some winter wheat and crimson clover and all that good stuff. And I'm probably going to invest in a manure spreader, and of course I'm going to have to invest in some manure too because I've got no more livestock. So but this ground could benefit from a lot of organic material being brought in here. Also sent off my 2 samples. The guy that come and did the lime, he took the 2 samples. He's going to send them to the lab, and hopefully within a few days I'll get the results back, and we'll go from there. Anyways, thanks for watching the little pasture renovation project on Homestead, Ohio. If you could, reach up here and check out some of my other videos. Hit the little round button down here to subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully there'll be a lot more good stuff coming. Thanks for watching. They make a tool called a penetrometer, so you can tell the density of the ground. I do not need one of those. No. I can tell right now it's slightly softer than concrete.